Hi Year 5 and welcome to your narrative lesson 5. Okay, today we're going to look at writing the opening of your story. Okay, we've looked at features of a narrative, we've looked at deconstructing some narratives, we've looked at getting into character because we are going to be the boy, it's going to be from our point of view. Okay, we've had a go at planning it. Okay, so hopefully you've got your plan out in front of you as well because you are going to need that today, and if you've not, quickly go and get it. Okay, and so today we're going to have a look at writing your opening. Now, before we get on to that, we're going to have a little look at what makes a good opening. Okay, so story opening should grab your attention. It should leave you with questions. It should make you want to keep reading, and this is called hooking the reader. Now, hopefully you'll all know that when you've picked up a book, you've read the blurb, you think, this is something I fancy reading. You then open the book and start reading. You know within the first page or two whether this is a book you're going to enjoy, okay, or it's something that you really want to keep reading. If it's not hooked your attention, okay, you're probably going to put it away, put it back on the shelf, all right? So we're going to have a go at analysing, okay, some story opening extracts, okay? So I want you to be thinking about ways in which these story openings hook you in. Now, after each one, you might hear a bit of a silence. That's why I'm giving you time to pause it, to write the techniques that are used and ways it makes you want to keep reading, okay? There is space on your worksheet to do that. Okay, so I'm going to read them all to you, and then I'm going to give you a bit of time to explain why it makes you want to keep reading and what techniques are used. So, where's Papa going with that axe, said Fern to her mother as they were setting the table for breakfast. Out to the hog house, replied Mrs. Arble. Some pigs were born last night. I don't see why he needs an axe, continued Fern, who was only 8. Well, said her mother, one of her pigs is a runt. Okay, so I'm looking at that and thinking, right, well, Fern's obviously a young girl. Okay, her mother, they must live on a farm. Okay, so it's giving me all that. One of her pigs is a runt, and this ellipsis here is giving me the idea that something is going to happen, or it may be something that Fern doesn't like, because her mum sounds like she's being what we call evasive. Okay, she's not quite telling her exactly why he needs an axe. So we'll go at writing ways in which it makes you want to keep reading. Right, next one. One afternoon when Bruno came home from school, he was surprised to find Maria, the family's maid, who always kept her head bowed and never looked up from the carpet, standing in his bedroom, pulling all his belongings out of the wardrobe, packing them in 4 large wooden crates, even the things he'd hidden at the back that belonged to him and were nobody else's business. So that's telling me that obviously he's come home from school and things aren't right, something's wrong. Okay, and the fact that he's pulling a suitcase and thinking, right, is he going on a trip? Are they packing in a panic? Do they have to leave? What is it? Okay. Next one. Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon exchange for anything to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Now, these sentences, these short, snappy sentences, so Marley was dead to begin with. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Okay. That has an effect on me. I'm thinking, oh, right, okay. So they've gone from saying Marley to old Marley, so it's giving me a bit more information. Okay. It's this phrase here, really, to begin with. I'm thinking, well, does he come back alive? Okay. Was he not dead? Okay. Not quite sure. So those are things that are making me ask lots of questions. You've probably never heard of Vincenzo Peruggia, but we all know about him. He was a famous art thief, and we used to be in the same line of work. My sister Minnie even had a picture of him on her bedroom wall. She reckons that when Vincenzo stole the Mona Lisa from the Louvre Museum in Paris on 21st of August 1911, that was the most immensely perfect crime ever. So this one gives me an element of mystery. I'm thinking, oh, well, if the narrator used to be in the same line of work, was he a thief as well? Okay, and why would someone have a picture of a thief on their wall? Okay, and the fact he stole the Mona Lisa is a very, very famous painting, okay? Okay, so the fact he stole that, okay, makes me want to read on. The villagers of Little Hangleton still called it the Riddle House, even though it had been many years since the Riddle family had lived there. It stood on a hill overlooking the village, some of its windows boarded, tiles missing from the roof, and ivy spreading unchecked over its face. Once a fine-looking manor and easily the largest and grandest building for miles around, the Riddle house was now damp, derelict and unoccupied. The little Hangletons all agree that the house was creepy. Half a century ago, something strange and horrible had happened there. Now, for me, it was the description. Okay, it's telling me it's such a grand house, and now it's damp, derelict, and occupied. Okay, in this one here, half a century ago, something strange and horrible had happened there. I need to know what that strange and horrible thing that happened there was. Okay, really, really wants to make me keep reading that one. Right, now you've had a go at writing all those, and if you've not quite done it, make sure you pause this video. Okay, let's have a look at some feedback. So, which ones were your favourite? Which ones really hooked you in as a reader? So what I want you to do is rank them, okay? I'll put an A to D, so A, B, C, D, okay, next to each one. Which one was your favourite? So put an A next to that one. Okay, which one was your least favourite? Put a D next to that one. And then what I want you to do is I want you to explain why. There's lots of room on that sheet. I want you to say to me, right, this was my favourite because, okay? And not just because you enjoyed the story, but think about the actual features that I used to draw you in. And the same for the least favourite. Why was that your least favourite? What didn't it do for you? Did it not make you want to ask questions? Did it not hook you in? Right, so some ways to hook in a reader, keep these in mind for when you are writing your opening. So open with a question. Dialogue. So dialogue is speech. Description of character or setting. Dramatic statements. That's like that Marley. Marley is dead. Start in the middle of the action and leave the reader with questions that intrigue them. Right, so think back to the story you've planned. What would be the most interesting way to open your story? Okay, so you really need to think about this because now you are going to have a go at just writing the opening. Okay, now I've put just in red and in bold because I don't want you to dip into the next part of the story. Try and keep it just to your opening. Okay, you've got a line sheet of paper, you've got room for a picture if you want to draw one. All right, once you've written it, I want you to ask yourself or ask someone in your house to read your story opening and ask, did it hook the reader? Did it make that person want to read more? Did it start with a question? Did it start with dialogue? Start with description of character or setting? Leave the reader with questions? Or did it start in the middle of the action? Okay, it may not have done all of those, okay, but it may have lots of elements of those in it. Okay, then as part of your plenary, just want you, okay, on the sheet where you did your extracts, okay, where you wrote down what techniques are being used, write down 3 ways that you can hook the reader when you're writing the story, just as a little rounding off exercise. Okay, see if you can remember those things that we can use to hook a reader in. Okay, I look forward to hearing these openings. Okay, well done, Year 5, keep it up.